All right, welcome in, guys. All right, all right. All right, let me see what's going on here. How is everybody doing? Welcome in, guys. Good morning. Happy Thursday. This week has flown by. This week has absolutely flown by. Welcome in, guys. Good morning, good morning. Okay, so first of all, I want to say this. We have a lot to go over this morning. We have a channel break on the market. So SPY just broke a huge channel. We're going to talk about this today and what it means for our session in front of us. There's a lot to go over this morning. 690, big break in the market. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't think yesterday's price action was very good. It was very slow. And even if you had the right ideas yesterday, it kind of just took a long time to work out, right? Even SPY, for example, right? SPY last week, or yesterday's session was not the easiest of trades because it maintained 690, right? Obviously, channel break yesterday, 690 was our big technical level. But the question really was, how long can you hold something without it going, right? We knew that 690 above is bullish and a break above it is going to get us the channel break. But the market basically chopped around for how many hours, right? It chopped around for, at this point, almost 2 hours before actually going. So definitely some lackluster price action. And I'll say this, it was probably the first day where you had price action that was pretty stuck in some time. We've been given very good price action. For example, on our Tuesday session, nice bullish price action. On our Monday session, obviously some downside moves, but again, good price action, good movements. Even on Friday, good movements. And then obviously, you would say probably Thursday, a little bit lackluster again, right? So it makes sense every few days in a row, you're going to get these slower days. And yesterday's session was indeed one of those slower days. Now, it was slow up until 11 o'clock. Things begin to speed up into our afternoon session. And again, something that I think is something that we need to start doing a lot in 2026 is maintaining trades for longer, right? If your levels are holding, maintain the trade for longer. And that was something that I did yesterday as well. And that I know like sometimes it's difficult to do. Sometimes you can't be sitting on the monitor all session, and I know it, right? But yesterday's session was a 690 hold, and that was the theme of yesterday's session. Across the board, most names did the same thing, right? For example, you look at almost every name yesterday, and every name did the same thing, right? For the most part. Now, obviously, chips didn't really do it because chips were a little bit lackluster because of the of Nvidia earnings, but most names did it, right? For example, Nvidia 194, right? 194 held, then it was a long all session. Even Tesla above 414, right? 414, 415, and Tesla was a long all session, but how long were you able to maintain this? That was the problem that we had yesterday's session. So we'll talk about it today. We'll talk about what it means for today's session, what we have for today's session. We have some things to go over, some setups to watch out for. For example, Amazon. Amazon, one of my top watches today. So this is going to be an interesting one today's session. And we're going to go over other names today, like our Meta chart. Meta finally showing you something. I think maybe Meta's beginning to wake up here, perhaps. We'll go over even names like Apple as well, AAPL. Apple also an interesting one yesterday's session. So let's dive into it, guys. We have a lot to go over this morning, and we are going to start right now. So what I want to do is I want to dive into our econ data, earnings reports, and we'll shift over back to our charts this morning. So first of all, Where's the energy? I'm the only one with energy this morning. Everyone else is sleeping in. I'm the only one yelling. You guys are all there, but everyone's here, but everyone's sleeping. Where is everybody? What's going on here? This is where's all the energy? I'll wait. I'm just gonna wait until everyone's active again. Wait until everyone wakes up because I think everyone needs a coffee break, like a 30-second coffee break or tea or caffeine, whatever you drink. Or maybe you're one of those people that takes those pills. You guys take those pills? The what are they called? The crate, not the, you know those little caffeine pills people take now? I forget what it's called. Everyone's taking those caffeine pills now. You know what I'm talking about? It's like that. It's that thing that I forget there's a word for it. Nobody's saying it. I think I'm the only one. Uh, yeah, I'm lagging over here. I don't know, lagging makes no sense. Makes no sense. If anyone knows how to fix this, let me know. But okay, we're ready. Awesome. Uh, is there lag? Is it lagging or is it not lagging? Let me know. Big lag. What is going on? Why am I lagging? That doesn't make sense. I'm breaking up. You guys are lagging out over here. I'm lagging hard. That's crazy. It just doesn't make any sense. I couldn't tell you why. I have no idea why I'm lagging. Neurogum. Yeah, that's what it was. That's exactly what it is. My stream is messing up. I just don't know. To be honest, guys, I'm dumbfounded. I don't know what to do by the lag. I almost every day I'm looking into it, and I just don't know why I lag every time I go online. I'm like, voice is in and out. Restart. You know why? My bit rate's going crazy right now. Hold on a second. Let me do this. Let's set the bit rate down lower. Let's set this to 6,000. Okay. Restart the live. No, because nothing's gonna change. I just don't see how it would even change. Let's see now. It may be better now. It may be better now. It should be good now. Let me know. Is it better now? I just changed my bit rate down. Let me know if it's better now and if I can proceed. It should be better. I'm telling you guys, like I have the top of the line set up right now, and I still lag. This doesn't make any sense at all. Like, literally, I've had IT specialists look at this. I've had people who literally do this full time, and they don't understand why I'm lagging. I could be getting attacked. I don't know. That's the only other thing I can think about is maybe someone's DDoSing me every time I go live, but it just doesn't make any sense. Anyways, so let's just rock it out. Let's just rock out. We'll make it work. I'll talk slow if I have to. If it gets bad, then we'll pause again. All right. So let's just move on as fast as possible. Okay. Econ data for today's session. It's Thursday. By the way, I want to say this. Try to restart the stream as well on your end. Right. Just close out the YouTube, reopen it. It might be better if you do that restart. If it's not better, then I'll just stop the stream. Okay. So let's just proceed and we'll do as best as we can. My KBS is going crazy right now. It's at 17,000. It doesn't make any sense. I'm in Discord now. This computer is a dedicated streaming computer. This is a dedicated. It's Rav. It's Rav. Tell Rav to stop DDoSing me in the chat. This guy is DDoSing me. It's Rav in the chat this morning. That's what he's doing. He's over there on his computer. All right, let's push through. Let's push through. That's all I can do. Okay. Let me watch it in my other stream. Let me see. Is it going in and out? No, in my other laptop, it's okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's just proceed. If it gets bad, I'll stop. Thursday session. Today is Thursday. It is February 26th. This morning we have jobless claims, we have retail sales, we have wholesale inventories. This morning at 8:30 a.m. Right, that happened about at this point 14 minutes ago. The other data we have today is at 10:30. We have an EIA gas report. It's not going to be that important. Tomorrow's session is the big data day. We have 8:30 data. We have PPI final demand. We have Chicago PMI at 9:45. And we also have our construction spending at 10 a.m. So some big things happening tomorrow morning. Just be aware of that. But today's session, it's not that important. On the earnings side, yesterday's session, we saw our big elephant in the room report its earnings. It is NVIDIA. NVIDIA reported earnings yesterday, and the numbers were quite good. It was actually a very good earnings report. NVIDIA initially popped on this earnings report. The problem with NVIDIA is you're starting to see this happen, guys, and we are in the midst of seeing a big growth name normalize. All right. Now, this is something that it doesn't happen very often because you need to think of like previous case studies where this has happened. Think of Apple back in 2017, 2018, where Apple was almost coined as a growth name, right? And it still is considered a growth name. But then eventually in 2020 and 2021, the stock began to normalize and didn't really react as crazy to earnings, right? You don't see 20% moves on earnings reports on Apple anymore, or 10% moves on Apple anymore. The reason why is because the stock eventually normalizes, right? You have a lot of funds that buy it and hold it and maintain it. You have a lot of lesser activity happening. Most people are just holding rather than seeing a lot of transactions. Obviously, there's still transactions occurring, but not a lot of block selling and block buying, right? Because again, the funds have already balanced their portfolios with these names, and you're not seeing huge equity moves. And that's why I think yesterday's session you saw the first sign of that really happening with NVIDIA is big upside move and then normalize, right back to where it was before. And I think this is going to be a common thing on NVIDIA. NVIDIA is not going to be a Tesla anymore, right? NVIDIA is not going to be making those huge moves as we had seen back in 2024, 2025. It's going to be probably smaller and even almost like Apple or Amazon. Try to compare NVIDIA now to an Apple and Amazon. You're going to start to see the similarities happen more and more, right? TTD also reported earnings. TTD, as we probably expected, shit the bed. CRM, Snowflake also reported earnings. We'll take a look at those names as well, and we'll talk about it. Okay, guys, trust me when I tell you this. It's not my internet. It's also not my. It's not my internet, and it's not my computer. I'm telling you, I have like the best of the best. I have like 700 upload, 700 download. So it's not my internet. It's just I honestly I couldn't explain it. I just don't know. I'm not sure what's happening, but I will look into it. And I'm relentless. I'll find out what the problem is, but just transparently, I don't know what the problem is. So on the SPY chart, is it better now though? Are we able to proceed? We should be good, right? We should be good. I think we're fine. Just let me know in the chat. I'm going to proceed. All right. So SPY 690 is your level. Okay. This was the level we broke on our Wednesday session, and it was a channel high. This was so important. We had our 690, our 690, our 690 last week high break yesterday session. And as I mentioned earlier on in the stream, right, when we first started our stream this morning, the biggest thing that happened yesterday was the fact that we saw us retain above 690. The problem, however, is that we knew a 690 reclaim was bullish. Right? This was obviously one of the most bullish things we could have seen in the market. The issue, however, is look how long it took you to move off the 690. This is a break and retest, right? This is a break and retest. This is, a classic breakout yesterday session. But the problem is we sat at the breakout zone for such a long time and consolidated and consolidated and consolidated, and then finally ripped and rallied. Now, the one thing you're noticing here in 2026 is something that I think we need to do more and more is just trust the level. If the levels are holding, you need to just maintain the trade, right? And that may mean you're sitting in a trade for 2 hours, 3 hours long. And sometimes it's going to happen. And unfortunately, it may be a little bit harder to maintain risk on option contracts with IV decay, but that was your hold spot, right? This was the most logical thing. This was your 690 maintenance yesterday session, and we ripped and rallied off that level. Now this morning, we've made the move, right? So we've seen the big move yesterday's session, and we are continuing this move into the pre-market session this morning. And we had a little bit of a pop and fade yesterday, post Nvidia earnings, but don't worry about this pop and fade. I think this pop and fade is going to confuse us today. Let's pretend this is not there. It doesn't really matter to us. The most important part is that we are breaking out from a big technical level of resistance. And what did we say yesterday? If we break 690, where are we going to? Well, our thought process is that we were going into at least 695, but probably back into 697.50. And so I do believe that's where the market's headed to. I think that at this point, we should, in theory, make our way to here, which is the end of our journey, right? Which would be 697.50. And what is this level? This level, as we know, is the all-time high resistance. So let's talk about setups today. If we know that this is probably what's going to happen today in the market, then where are the setups? The setups are if we get a pullback to 690, it's a pullback long, right? A pullback to last week's highs and a retention here would be a long. That's the first and foremost. Likewise, and in complete contrast, if we broke somehow beneath 690, this would be an obvious short setup and we can look for a downside move, which I don't think is going to happen, but let's not throw it all away, right? If this does happen, we would look for shorts today. But again, this is the most logical setup today, right? If we do pull back to 690, it's a pullback long. We could look for upside. We could also look for continuation moves today, right? Given the fact that we've seen consolidation, and a lackluster day on Wednesday, well, then I think we can also look for a move above the 695. If we do clear 695 today, you know where we're going to, right? We should see the move back into where? Above this high right here, the move above 695 should see us back into 697.50. And someone said, Brett, where's the landmines? The landmines we are all over the landmines today, right? Above 695, your first big landmine is around this all-time high. That's a huge landmine, right? It's a colossal landmine. So let's not do this today. I think this is really important. Is fine. If we do see this break today, then yes, it's an upside move. But the closer you get to this all-time high supply, you know that there are landmines here, right? Things to watch out for where you can see the big whim wham downside moves. We don't want that to happen. So I would say this: trust your levels. 695 is your yesterday's highs, and I know I said don't worry too much about this, but it is your first area, right? Even barring yesterday's price action, it wasn't even there, right? This would still be a level today. 695 is still a level. Above this level, we go into all-time highs, and then the pullback long valid. These are our long setups today. Our short setups, so long. Our short setups are if this happens. A fail under 690. If this happens, we short the stock and we go to sleep. If 690 breaks, we short the stock and we go to sleep. That's what I'm going to do today. Short the stock, go to sleep. This would be a very insane breakdown. 690 breaks, we look for shorts. Okay, but as of right now, we're bullish and we have resistance in front of us at 695 and 697.50. And of course, this 697.50 zone is our all-time high. In New York City today, let's see if I make that 10K. Nice job, man. Thank you, Mr. Garrison. You are a gentleman. Welcome to New York City, man. Welcome to New York City. I hope you have a great time in New York City. That is awesome. Obviously, right, just be careful of our all-time high supply. That's the biggest thing today's session, okay? Let's move on. Let's go over to our ES chart. By the way, it's funny because you guys are the only real ones. I'm lagging out this morning. You guys are the ones sticking around. I have probably my lowest viewer count that I've had since I first started streaming. The reason why is because the lag, obviously, right? So it's good that you guys are staying around. You guys are the real ones who stick out with me even when we are lagging like crazy. So yesterday's session on the ES chart, we saw a break above supply. Okay, this was our break above supply. You can see resistance, 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 resistance. That is your big resistance zone, and we knew that going into yesterday's session. And once we broke above it, it was a long. That was why yesterday's session, all day, people were like, Brett, why are you long all day Tesla? What are you doing longing Tesla? I longed Tesla yesterday because SPY was breaking above the highs and Tesla was above 415, right? That was what I was doing. I was longing SPY. I was longing the Tesla chart because SPY was above resistance. ES was above a breakout level, and I was figuring we would go higher. I did not account for the fact that we would have 2 hours of literal mind-boggling chop, right? That's what happened yesterday. Some mind-boggling chop where the market just consolidated, and then finally upside move into our close. Now, I'll say this. Today's session here on the ES chart is it is going to be all about our all-time high supply, but there is a landmine. There is a landmine here, right? And we have to go back to SPY after this because we need to correlate this over to SPY chart. But the landmine on this chart today is 7,000 ES. I did not mean to do that. I did not mean to do that. 7,000. Yes, bam. That's what I meant to do. Okay. So 7,000 ES is your level today. And I mean, of course, this is your first area to watch out for, psychological whole number, but it's not just a psychological whole number. If you go back into the 15-minute chart, you're going to see, hey, hold on a second. Look what happened during our Feb 20 or Feb 9th session. Feb 9th, Feb 10th, Feb 11th, right? You can see for 3 days in a row, we got stuck at this general vicinity over here up in this range. And so we know, okay, hold on a second. We've seen upside move, bam. Downside move, bam. Upside move, bam. And wait a second, this looks oddly similar to what we're seeing here. Hey, upside move, bam, right? So 7,000 ES is going to be probably your first target for longs today. But also, more importantly than it being your first target for longs today, it's also the first landmine in the market, right? It's the first spot in the market where, hey, there possibly is some resistance here, and we can maybe see some selling off that level, right? So 7,000 ES is your technical level resistance. And now we need to take a second and jump back to our SPY chart and correlate that over. On the SPY chart, where is that lining up to? On SPY, that is on SPY. That is, oh, wait a second. It's really 696 on the SPY chart. So 696 this is the problem, right? It's a landmine, right? So we have our ES chart, and what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna mark out this being the ES 7,000 level, right? So sure, you want to go long above 695 today on SPY, but then you see this and you're like, well, hold on a second, I can't do that because you long 695 and you're longing back into a landmine. So that's what I'm saying today, right? I'm going to stick to that idea here is the fact that we have resistance at 7,000. If you want a long today, you probably want a 7,000 break. 7,000 breaks, we can look for upside for a $1.50 move back in all-time highs, right? That's what I'm seeing today's session. Let's move on, okay? You're saying I think it's 697. I don't think it's 697 because it should be, right, the ES level, Monday the 9th high, right? Remember that number, Monday the 9th high. Where is Monday the 9th high here on the ES? Monday the 9th high on the ES chart is over here, right? And Monday the 9th, oops, we're all over the place. Monday the 9th high is this level right here, 7,000 flat, right? So that's my correlation. My correlation is based on the chart. So this should be, that same 696 level should be 7,000 ES, okay? Guys, we're going snail pace today, and it's your fault, okay? It's not my fault. It's your fault. So let's go over Q's chart. Let's move on. On the QQQ, what happened yesterday? Q's was much easier to trade. I mean, come on now, right? This was the trade. This was the chart to trade. I mean, it just ripped and rallied. I mean, literally from our 610 level all the way to 616 in just a few candles. Of course, we rejected out 616, which was a big supply zone. We saw a downside move, and then obviously reclaimed it. So 616 was your level yesterday. Really, 610 was your level. And then once 610 broke, it was straight up move to 616, right? So big, decent move yesterday session on this chart. Now, where are we going to now? On the QQQ chart, you can see that we're actually quite a ways away from all-time highs. So it's interesting to see this, that we have all-time highs being around 3% away here on the QQQ, but on the SPY chart, we are just we're just right there, right? We're right there. And someone said, students of Brett don't trade QQQ. Trust me when I tell you this. Who trades? Gunny trades QQQ. Gunny's an absolute killer, right? And Gunny's an absolute animal. He's a killer of QQQ, right? So there are some QQQ traders, and I think yesterday's session was a Q's day, right? It wasn't a SPY day yesterday. It fortunately was just a Q's day. Now, if we hold 615 rips, and maybe maintain 615, we're going to go higher, right? So we know that's our key level today. At this point, right, pullback long is 610 valid or 615 hold, and we rip and rally today. Okay, let's move on. Let's go over some other names. We have to go fast, guys. We're not going to be able to go over everything in depth because we just don't have time. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA reported earnings yesterday, and like I said, NVIDIA got shot down. It kind of normalized a little bit, right? Sometimes we forget that, oh, wow, big upside move. But let's not forget this is a $3 trillion market capitalization company, right? This is a company that trades no longer like a Tesla anymore. It no longer trades like a Robinhood. Hey, let's bring it back down to our ground level, right? And so I think that's, I mean, my speculation is I think that's what's happening here. Now, where are the levels on NVIDIA today? NVIDIA levels 194 is your big support today. So 194, big support. If we're above it, we're bullish. If we're below it, we're bearish. So that's what my mindset is today. 194 bullish, 194 bearish. As of this morning, we are holding 194, so we're bullish. Where does this go to? Well, above 200, above 199, really. You can see 199. We go back to 205, right? 204, 205. I did not mean to do that. 204, 205, right over here. And the next level being the highs are here around 213, right? So those are your big levels in front of us. We have supply here at 199. We have demand here at 194. So if you're looking for trades today on NVIDIA, it's going to be a 194 pullback long or a 199 build for longs today. Okay, that's all I have here on this chart. Am I $1.7 trillion off on NVIDIA? That's embarrassing, right? Is NVIDIA really? Am I wrong about that? That's insane. Okay, so guys, obviously a little more than I thought there, but still, the idea is still the same, right? Market cap huge in this company. It's no longer moving like a Tesla anymore. It's not doing that, right? So let's trade it as it should be. AMD 220 is your level. We know 220 is your level, and 220 is still rejecting here. If we can break above 220, upside in the market, right? We do have support down over here below us at 204, 205. So support over here. Does this turn into a long? Maybe, right? Actually, maybe you guys want to trade AMD longs today. Well, this could be it right here, right? This could be your long side trade right over here. If this maintains, it forms a higher low over here, perhaps that's your long, right? That's all I have today, guys. This is your level here, 204, 205. If this holds, it's a long. If you lose this level, it's a short. I would say your best possible trade today on this chart is going to be right over here. If you see us maintain here, go along with the stop below for an upside move, right? If you fail below 204, then this idea is no longer correct. But as of right now, this is bullish as long as we're above 204, okay? Let's move on, guys. We have some other things to go over this morning, and we need to move faster than we are currently, okay? Let's dive into the next ticker. Next ticker is going to be SMH. I want to show you the SMH briefly. SMH still pushing out highs. I think this is probably the cleanest break and retest I'm seeing in the market today. SMH break and retest of 420, right? I mean, just an incredible level here, an incredible level of resistance built up here at 420, 421. If you see us pull back to these set of highs over here, these set of highs over here, right? This could be your classic break, retest, sort of compression, right? Little compression, consolidation, upside move. So watch SMH 421, 420. That's your pullback long spot. If you lose 420, 420, if you lose 420, 421, right, then you know we're going back down lower, right? So that's your big inflection point this morning here on this chart. The Appler, AAPL. So Apple is one of my top watches today as well. I know this has been consolidating now, and we spoke about not trading it yesterday, but today's session, I have a level here that I want to talk about. It's very simply just yesterday's highs. It's yesterday's highs. So if we can clear back above this 274.50 area, yesterday's highs, I'm looking for longs, right? So right over here, you can see we have a resistance here at 274.50, 275 really, right? 275. If we can clear 275, I can look for longs into 280. So this is one of my top watches today. Let's see if it pans out, but we can only long this if it does build and break above that 275 zone today, okay? All right, let's move on. Amazon 213, right? So Amazon 213 is your level. If we can see Amazon clear 213, we go into gap fill mode, right? So gap fill mode above Amazon 213. So this is one of my top watches today. If we can clear 213, upside. We knew this already, right? This was a watch that we've been having for quite some time. So let's continue to watch Amazon. But if we do clear 213, then we can look for upside, right? One thing I want to talk about though is the gap fill is very obviously in a 220. But we do have the daily 21 SMA here at 218. This is still a bearish chart, right? Remember I said this yesterday, this is still a bear chart until we get back above 213. So let's not change that. It still is bearish as long as we're under 213. But if we do get over 213, it's a bull bear shift, right? It shifts from a bear to a bull chart, and we can look for upside back into 218, right? And then possibly even 220. But as of right now, 218 would be your first target here on Amazon's chart, okay? Moving on. Obviously, this is still this is still a bear chart, right? But if we do reclaim this level, then it turns into a bull chart, right? Palantir. I don't think much is happening here, guys. My view, Palantir is bearish as long as we're under 145, right? I don't know if you guys remember this chart. I showed it to you guys a long time ago, but I said PLTR, as long as it's under 145, is a bearish head and shoulders, okay? So this chart is still appears to be the same, and nothing has fundamentally changed here since I would say back in early February. So just keep that in mind. TTD reported earnings. I think we took a roll call on TTD, and we were talking about this before. I don't want to say much about this anymore, guys. But do you guys remember a while ago we did a roll call in the chat, and we were like, how many of you guys actually use TTD, right? And remember you guys said it. I remember in the chat you guys were talking about it. We were like, okay, how many of you guys actually use TTD? We did a roll call, and I think we found out of like the 200 people here, I think there was maybe 2 people that used it, right? And so this is a very common theme you're going to get is invest in products long-term that you like, right? And that you use. This is so important. It's something that I'm a big believer in because at the end of the day, the financials can be great, but financials can be great on anything, right? Financials were great on Cisco. Financials were great on Xerox, right? But unfortunately, they're just dud companies, right? You have to look at the actual longevity of the company. Is it a product you really want to use? And if it's a product you really like, for example, I think Snapchat is a good example of this, right? Case study Snapchat. I know some of you goons out there use Snapchat, but very few of you do, right? In fact, probably what you've seen is in the last 3 or 4 years, you've seen people shift from Snapchat, right? Just throw it out the window. And what did you see happen to the company, right? The same thing. The company sells off. Doesn't matter how beautiful the stock earnings are, it sells off because it's not a company you want to invest in long term. So just understand that. Again, I know that I'm talking, I don't want to be a dead horse, right? Because that's what I'm doing right now. I shouldn't be doing that. But it's something I think you guys should all be aware of. Okay? Tesla. Tesla yesterday was just so frustrating for me because I knew it was a long all session, and it was a long all session, but it just didn't do much. It just stuck at this level all session at 41350, 414. This was my long spot. It maintained it. Yes, saw some upside, but didn't really give you much continuation. It just sat in that demand for quite some time, and finally, at the end of the day, it gave you a little bit of a push. Not Snapchat. Tesla today. What can we watch on Tesla today? On our Tesla chart this morning, the only thing I would watch out for today I keep saying Snapchat, on Tesla is going to be, can we break above yesterday's highs, 420? If 420 can break on Tesla, we can look for longs. There is a very big seller on Tesla at 420. If this can clear, we can look for upside moves, right? But as of right now, I no longer have any interest in trading Tesla until 420 reclaims. Last ticker, guys, Netflix. Netflix did something interesting yesterday. Netflix, I spoke about 80 being a big level, and I said 80 is the pop and fade, is a shot down level. And yesterday's session, you saw what happened. You saw 80 reclaim, okay? And I want to show you this. This is the first time since since over here, right? It's the first time since November of 2025 where we have some price action over the daily 21 SMA. This is a moment right now for Netflix. And I am long Netflix. You guys know I'm long Netflix. I have a position in Netflix equity. It's a moment for Netflix, and if this can hold 80, it's a long. If it could reclaim 85, it's even more so a long. So let's look. If 85 can reclaim, you can look for longs today. If you see a pullback to 80 today, it's also a long. But at this moment, if you are in a swing trade on Netflix, if you're in an equity trade now, whatever you're in, right? This is the level you want to see us hold now, right? And what I'll do is I'll make it I'll make it pink so everyone can see it, right? Pink, red, whatever that is. That's your level it has to hold now. If it can hold 80, it's a long and it's going to go higher, right? And this is the level it must maintain because last time you saw us like a pop and faded 21 SMA, right? You don't want to see that happen. You want to see us maintain here and build higher. And I do think it's going to happen. This is the first trend flip that's happened in a long time. Let's see if this can actually continue. Guys, that is all I have for today. Thank you. Seriously, I want to say this. Thank you for all hanging out with me. I know my lag is not that good. I know it's the quality sucks, and I appreciate you guys all hanging out. And I wish you all the best. Have a great session. I will do my best to fix this for tomorrow, but I cannot say that confidently until I know for sure, right? So I'll do my best. We'll see what happens next session, but I'll see you guys all for live trading. Bye, guys.